It should have been an ordinary night at Harper's Diner, greasy plates, flickering neon sign, the low hum of late-night truckers. But Elena felt unsettled the second the tall man in the charcoal jacket walked in. He didn't look around, didn't check the menu, didn't even take off his gloves. Instead, he scanned the room once, locked eyes with her across the counter, and chose table 7, a booth no one ever sat in except the drunk, the desperate, or the people who didn't want to be seen. She tried to focus on wiping down the espresso machine. She tried not to stare. But the man kept watching her, not in a creepy way, no, in a way that felt intentional, focused, too focused. "Elena," her coworker whispered, elbowing her. "You should take his order. He asked for you." That was strange. He didn't even know her name. Still, she walked toward table 7, pretending the flutter in her chest was annoyance and not curiosity. The closer she got, the more she noticed things. The sharp cut of his jaw, the faint scar near his eyebrow, the kind of posture that looked trained. Not a normal customer, not even close. "Coffee?" she asked, pen hovering over her pad. He smiled then, small, deliberate. "You remembered." Her heart stuttered. "I've never seen you before." "You have," he said, voice low. "Just not like this." Before she could speak, he slid a folded piece of paper across the table. She hesitated, glancing between his unreadable expression and the paper. Something about the moment tugged at a distant memory she couldn't quite reach. "What is this?" she whispered. "Open it when you're alone." Her thumb brushed the paper's edge, warm, freshly written. "And Elena," he added, leaning slightly forward, "please don't panic when you read it." Her breath caught. "Why would I panic?" His eyes softened, not cold, not threatening, almost protective. "You'll understand." A shout from the kitchen broke the moment. "Elena, order's up." She tore her gaze away from him. 1 second, that's all it took. When she looked back, the man was gone, the booth empty, the door still swinging, no coffee cup, no receipt, no trace, except the folded note in her hand. Her fingers trembled as she opened it. 4 words, written in fast, urgent pen strokes. "You're not safe tonight." Her stomach dropped. Underneath the message was something else. A small, grainy photo taken from across the diner, time-stamped 10 minutes earlier. Her, standing at the counter, with someone behind her. A dark figure she hadn't noticed at all. Someone who wasn't the man from table 7. Someone who was still inside the diner. Elena's pulse roared in her ears as she lifted her eyes, scanning the room slowly. Slowly. Someone was watching her. And the only person who might have helped her, the mysterious stranger with the charcoal jacket, had vanished. But even as fear tightened her chest, she felt a spark she couldn't explain. She didn't know who he was. She didn't know what danger she was in. But she knew one thing. He wasn't finished with her, not even close. Elena's breath trembled as she looked down at the note in her hand. The words, "You're not safe tonight," burning into her mind. The shadowy man across the diner kept inching closer, his eyes dark and unreadable. She backed into the counter, heart hammering. "Stay away," she whispered. The man took one more step, and the diner door burst open. The stranger from table 7 stormed in, no longer quiet or mysterious. He moved with purpose, with the confidence of someone who had already made a decision and was prepared to stand by it. Before Elena could speak, he placed himself between her and the approaching figure. "That's enough," he said firmly. The shadowed man hesitated, unnerved by the authority in the stranger's voice. "You shouldn't interfere," he muttered. "I should have interfered a long time ago," the stranger replied. Elena clutched the counter. "Someone tell me what's happening." The mysterious stranger turned to her, his voice softer now. "My name is Rowan Hale. I'm a private security consultant. Months ago, I was hired to track down a man who was extorting small businesses along this highway. Tonight, I followed him here." Her eyes widened. "Extorting businesses? Why come after me?" "He wasn't," Rowan answered. "He just needed privacy. You were the only person working in the diner tonight, and he wanted you out of the way. I stepped in before he could scare you into leaving." The man's jaw tightened. "You don't understand." "No," Rowan cut in. "I understand perfectly." The 2 men stood locked in tense silence before the extortionist cursed under his breath and bolted out the back exit, disappearing into the darkness. Rowan didn't chase him. He didn't need to. "Police will intercept him," Rowan assured her quietly. "I alerted them before I came back in." Elena's shoulders sagged with relief as the adrenaline drained from her body. She stared at him, at the man who had walked in like a stranger, watched her like he was memorizing her, and returned like he already felt responsible for her safety. "You scared me," she whispered. "I know," he said. "I'm sorry." There was something in his voice that made her chest tighten. Not guilt, not fear. Sincerity. Deep and warm and unexpected. She stepped closer without thinking. "And the note?" she asked. Rowan's lips curved into a small, almost embarrassed smile. "I wrote it quickly to warn you. I didn't want to shout across the room and give him a reason to react." She let out a shaky laugh. "You wrote it like you were in a movie." Rowan's eyes gentled. "I didn't want to frighten you, but I needed you alert." Elena folded the note and slid it into her apron, not as a warning anymore, but a reminder of how close she had come to danger, and who had stepped in to protect her. "So," she said softly, "is this where you disappear again?" Rowan hesitated, then shook his head. "No," he said. "This time, I'd like to stay, at least long enough to buy you a coffee." His expression warmed. "Black! Nothing special." She laughed, the tension in her stomach finally breaking. "One boring coffee coming up." She turned toward the counter, but Rowan gently caught her wrist, not stopping her, just grounding her. "Elena," he said. She looked back. "You really are safe now." And for the first time that night, she believed it. They sat together at table 7, the booth that had started everything, while the neon lights hummed softly around them. No danger, no running, no shadows. Just two people who met in the middle of a storm and somehow ended up finding calm in each other. By the time the police cruiser's distant sirens faded into silence, the night no longer felt threatening. It felt like a beginning, a quiet, peaceful, unexpected beginning that didn't need anything more than this moment. And that was enough.